Hi guys, welcome. We are here today because we only have 7 days left on the Chevelle giveaway. So we're gonna talk a little bit more in detail about some of our favorite parts of the car, starting with the engine. So let me go ahead and pop the hood. We'll get right into it. This is, like I always say, the heart of the beast. We really put a lot of attention to detail in the engine bay and the engine. This is a BluePrint engine's 427. It is a bad boy of an LS engine. It's got a Magnuson supercharger, 427 cubic inches. So this block is actually sleeved to get that big bore and stroke. All forged internals, 11:1 compression, but this thing still runs on 91 pump gas. We went ahead and swapped the pulleys. This engine dynoed about 850 horsepower with a conservative pulley setup. We went a little more wild with the pulley. We call it the party pulley, I guess you would say. But on top of that, we also went with FiTech. So we upgraded to a larger throttle body with them, and it has their entire fuel system. So this has their force fuel that we mounted in the trunk. And that has a dual pump to really feed this thing. We went with everything as far as their Ultimate LS kit and the supercharger. This is a 2.3 liter Magnuson. It makes plenty of boost. I think we've seen like up to 17 pounds of boost on this thing. So it'll scoot. This thing is a handful. You're rowing through gears in this. This has a Silver Sport transmission, 6-speed, backed with their drive shaft and a Ford 9-inch rear end. We did a lot of other details on the engine. This has a Wegner Motorsports front accessory drive. We did that in all black. If you notice the theme of the engine, we pretty much did everything blacked out. This car is silver with some polished and chrome accents here and there. And the engine bay, we kind of wanted it to be understated. So we just went with everything black. We did a black intake tube. We made a coolant tube that's black. We used some silicone hoses. Everything even down to the AC compressor is blacked out. Black wrinkle finish on the supercharger. We did a black Wilwood master cylinder in here to match. And then we upgraded some stuff in the engine bay to really draw your attention to that engine so that you could focus on it. Some of those things include a smooth firewall. You'll notice that's painted body color and it's smooth of the factory heater box. We were able to do that because we're running a vintage air system that's all under the dash. We upgraded a closeout panel here just to clean up and direct all of that air to the radiator. This is an upgraded Be Cool radiator. It's aluminum. It's a dual row radiator, dual electric fans, enough cooling system to keep this beast at operating temp. This thing runs about 200 degrees, which is great considering the boost it's making and the power it's making. Couple other things we did was upgrades to some of the hardware. So we upgraded to stainless hardware wherever we could, just to clean up the engine bay and tie everything in, and just make everything look nice and finished. We have a lot of braided lines. As much as we could, we did AN fittings and black braided lines. All the AN fittings are black anodized. We did some upgrades under here that you might be able to see to the steering as well. These normally have like a rubber rag joint. We went with a solid mounted Borgeson universal joint for a more positive steering feel. A couple other things, little details like the Detroit Speed Engineering wiper. That gives you a modern variable speed wiper. And then moving on behind the engine, like I said, the 6-speed transmission with a dual disc clutch going through a Silver Sport drive shaft. This was a full Silver Sport package that included their clutch pedal, clutch master cylinder, the transmission cross member. So everything's a nice cohesive package from them. So it bolts right in. Everything works exactly like a factory car basically, even at this power level. But the dual disc is necessary to handle that kind of power. And that about wraps it up for the engine. There's a few other details in here. Some of the wiring, some of the plumbing, we tried to keep that all as clean as possible, just to make it look uncluttered. With the supercharger, we have some additional systems, including air to water intercooler that we hid behind the grill. We tried to hide the pump and the reservoir for that, kind of in this area where the battery normally goes. And then we tried to do as many upgraded reservoirs as far as the coolant overflow is all billet aluminum. The power steering reservoir is billet aluminum as well. Just to keep things at a high quality level. We ran the wiring all up under the fender well, which is popular on A bodies. They have a nice area in there that you can hide some of the wiring and tuck it. Same thing with the AC lines and the heater lines. We ran those all up through the fender well and through the firewall so that you don't see anything cluttering up the engine bay. We wanted to focus as much attention on the BluePrint 427 with the supercharger. It is one of my favorite parts of this car because it is what makes this car so exciting to drive. Coupled with the 6-speed, it's a riot. This is a power level that you don't see every day, especially in a classic car. So that's why we wanted to go with the best of the best, including FiTech, BluePrint, Ultimate LS headers, Wagner Performance. This is just a really top-notch parts list that we put on this thing. So we're proud to bring it to you. And with 7 days left, don't forget, get entered to win.